Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. We all want to win more work. We all want to save hours of our valuable time, and we all want to increase profits, right? So in today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you how introducing photo surveys and video surveys into your business is going to revolutionize how you run your business. You see, gone are the days where we need to be doing the old-fashioned, traditional, in-person survey where every lead comes in, we have to go and look at every single job, wasting so much time, so much money on time wasters and tire kickers. But before we go there, I'd just like to make the announcement that our members priority waiting list is now open for you to join. In January, the Trades Freedom Club are launching a revolutionary new level of membership that's going to provide you with all the help, the support, the knowledge, the skills, the guidance, the coaching, the mentoring, everything that you need to build, grow and scale your trades or construction business, no matter whether you've just set up and gone self-employed today or you're an established business of 10 years turning over £5 million. If you're interested in finding out more about this new membership, you need to add yourself to our priority members waiting list. The link to the waiting list is in the show notes and the description of this episode. And only by you adding yourself to that waiting list will you get the invitation link to join in January. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. Today's episode follows on from last week's episode, which is number 36, called How to Create a Vetting Form to Replace Time Wasters with Pre-Qualified Leads. And in that episode, we established that you are wasting so much time and money surveying jobs, pricing jobs, sending out quotes, proposals and estimates to not win the work or even worse, get ghosted. Now, we established that the most valuable currency on the planet to any business owner is the currency of time. And we've only got 168 hours in a week to fit everything in. So you haven't got the time to be wasting on time wasters and tire kickers who can't afford your products or your services. And last week, I taught you all about the vetting process that you need to implement, the online vetting form that you need to create, the phone script vetting form that you need to create for anyone that's giving you a call with a lead. We went through all the questions that you need to be asking on these vetting forms, including how do you get round the awkward question of asking for budget and timescales to make sure that it fits within your diary. And even we went through the software that you need to build an online vetting form out with to vet out them time wasters and tire kickers in the top of your funnel, only leaving warm leads and pre-sold ready to buy customers that you're going to dedicate your time to moving forward. Now, this episode today follows on from last week's. Last week's was part 1. Today's part 2. So if you haven't already listened to episode number 36, can I suggest that you stop this episode now, go back to listen to episode 36, and that way you're going to understand what we're covering in this episode and you're going to get more value from what we're teaching. So how we ended on last week's episode is that you vetted your potential customer and you've worked out that they are a warm lead or they're pre-sold and they're ready to buy, and we want to move them to the next part of the sales process. Now, what we have to remember here is this. Your marketing strategy has done its job. And what I mean by that is your marketing strategy is designed to attract your target market in their highest concentration to you and your business. And we're going to put all of those people that we attract into the top of our funnel. And as you now know, as people or potential customers start to work their way through your funnel, the vetting forms, both online vetting form and the vetting form script, will help you wean out as many of the time wasters as possible, only leaving pre-sold, ready to buy warm leads dropping out the bottom of your funnel. So the marketing's done its job in terms of generating you the leads. So that's the end of the marketing strategy. It's done its job. The leads come in. But what we need to do now is move that lead over to what I call the sales process. And the sales process starts with you making that first communication with that customer, where ultimately, once the leads come in, you need to speak to the customer. You've got to pick the phone up and you need to have a conversation with that customer. And maybe on that first phone call, we may ask them a few extra vetting questions just to double check that they are right for us to give up our valuable time to spend with. Now, assuming they are, the logical next step would be, right, I need to go and survey the job. I need to go to their home or their site or their office and have a look at the work that needs to be done. So therefore, I can come back, put a price together and quote it, send them out a quote, then I can follow that up, and hopefully they want to go ahead, they can pay the deposit, sign the terms and conditions, and then we've got another job on our job board. Now remember, last week we were speaking about not going out and looking at all the jobs that you get leads for. Because a lot of these people just want to use you. They just want to use you for a price comparison, or they haven't got the right budget, or the timescales don't align with your diary. So what we were saying last week is, why the hell are you giving up your valuable time for people that are never going to buy from you? So today, we are now going to explore that next part of the sales process. But instead of you going out and doing home surveys, site surveys, office surveys in person every time you get one of these leads through that's sapping so much of your time, we're going to make a conditional shift in our business. And I'm telling you now, this will revolutionize how you run your business. And that is by introducing photo surveys or video surveys into your business, where we're going to get photos or videos from that potential customer. And from that point, we are going to then give them a ballpark figure of what we believe from our experience that job's going to cost based on all the information that they've sent to us, and that's photos, and that's videos, and that's measurements, and that might be drawings that they're going to send to you. All that information comes in, and then from your experience, you're going to give that customer a call back, and you're going to explain to them how you've been established for X amount of years, and you'd fitted X amount of these types of jobs, and how you'd love to work with that customer, but you just want to give them a ballpark figure first to make sure that it's within their price bracket or their budget, and then we're going to give them the timescales, and then we're going to ask them how they want to proceed. And if they want to proceed from that point, brilliant, we can then go out and maybe do the site, home, or in-person survey. So we're not wasting any time. Are you with me? Now, before we go there, there's something that you must understand. And I want you making notes on everything I'm going to share with you from this point on. Because if we don't understand what I'm going to share with you now, you'll not understand the value and the concept of why we've got to bring in photo and video surveys at this point in this sales process. So what we have to understand is this. Everyone's buying behaviours have totally changed. Now, I'm not going to give you a long-winded history lesson on customers or consumers' buying behaviours, because that'll bore the pants off everyone. However, when you're running your own business, you must understand the psychology of sales and how people buy and what behaviours or what trends are happening that trigger emotion or trigger something inside a potential customer to get them to buy. And this has been changing drastically over the years. And there's not many positives that came out of the whole situation we went through some years ago with that horrible COVID and that virus. But one of the big things and big benefits as I see that came out of that is the way in which people started to communicate. And the way in which people started to use technology to start to communicate, and that now has set a precedent and has set the ball rolling to a massive change in our behaviour, how we communicate, but more importantly, how we buy. It's your job as a business owner and as a salesperson, and I know you probably don't like being called a salesperson, but technically you are. I'm guessing you're responsible for the sales or the jobs or the work coming into your business. So you must understand sales. You must understand the psychology of how sales works. I mean, come on, what's the point of you investing to everything in your business, such as all your marketing to generate your leads, all the systems behind the scenes that's helping you run your business, you understanding all the numbers within your business, you building a team for you to then go and cock it up by what you're saying or not saying and doing when it comes to the final hurdle, which is sales. And I'm a strong believer in, if you're a business owner, you must have some form of sales training, because most people will think they can sell ice to the Eskimos. And as I say to my Inner Circle members, when we spend a full month on their sales process, all you people that think you've got the gift of the gab or you're great at sales, try and sell something to me now. And as they try and sell something, I actually spin the whole conversation round and I end up selling back to them. Why? Because I've had years and years and years of sales training, because I know that the final obstacle, the final hurdle that we've got to get a customer over is them making a decision, are they going with us or are they going with somebody else? So I know for sure that you're putting obstacles and hurdles in your own path that are halting your own sales process and stopping people from buying from you. Let me give you a quick example of what I'm talking about. on how people's behaviours have changed and how they are buying completely different, and why we must understand the psychology of sales. When I first set up my joinery and construction business way back in 1994, how we purchased products or materials or anything was very simple. We used cash, hard-earned cash. And I remember as a joiner going through all my apprenticeships and in my early 20s, we used to get paid in cash. That's how it worked. And then something called checks came about. So every time we wanted to go to a builder's merchants or a timber's merchants to buy some timber or sheet materials or whatever it is we were using, we'd have to pull his checkbook out and we'd have to write a check to purchase what it is we were purchasing. Now, each week, we needed paying from our customers. So every week, we used to wait for the postman to drop his first class post in our door, and we'd open all the post up, and the checks from our customers paying us would come to us. And then what we'd have to do is we'd have to drive to the bank, find a car parking space or a car park up, walk to the bank, hand the check in at the bank. Then we'd have to wait 3 to 5 days for that check to clear before the money hit our banks. That's how business used to work back in the early 90s. But then, in 1998, something amazing happened and were invented and suddenly appeared. And this thing was called Google. It were an online search engine that brought the World Wide Web, as it were called then, and the internet to us, albeit it looked nothing and felt like nothing is today, right? But the internet started to grow, which helped to speed up our sales process. And along that journey, as technology advanced, we got the chip and pin, the direct debit cards, and the cash machines with the hole in the wall. Then we started using this thing called bank transfers, where we could transfer money between banks. Then these card terminals suddenly appeared, and this is how we used to transfer money and get paid. And it continued to evolve, which gave the birth then to online shopping, where you can set up a website, you can set up a shop, you can buy online. And then that gave birth to companies like Amazon that started popping up and appearing and making it super, super easy and simple for you to be able to buy a product or a service, right, online. But then as that started to evolve, our phones were turned into smartphones, and all of a sudden, payment gateways like Apple Pay was added to our phones. And we can now, over the last X amount of years, just simply tap his phone and we can pay, transfer money, and the buying process has become so much easier, even to a point where I never thought I'd see the day where I'm looking at the time on my watch, but I can use a watch to pay and buy things. And I use my Apple Watch and I tap my Apple Watch and I'm still like, wow, watches. You can pay for things through watches. All this technology. And how easy is it? And the speed of how we can purchase things has now changed the psychology of how we buy. Our buying behaviours have completely changed. Now, you might be sat there saying, Craig, I get all this, but what the hell does all that lot mean to me and my business? We've got a trades or a construction business. We're not Amazon. We haven't got an online shop. We don't sell physical products online. And to a certain point, I would agree with you. But I would argue the fact that, hang on a minute, you've got boilers. You've got solar panels. You've got internal doors, depending on your trade, that you are buying and selling on to customers. So you are selling physical products. You're just wrapping and packaging it all up in a different way to the likes of Amazon. And forget about the products. You are all selling a service. Whatever your trade is, you are selling a service. Now, what we need to understand is this. Your customers or potential customers are no longer comparing you just to the competitors and the 2 or 3 other quotes that they've now received. They're not comparing you to those. They're comparing you and your business to the level of service that they can get from the likes of Amazon, where I can sit on my arse at 9 o'clock at night, get my laptop out, go on something like Amazon and buy almost anything. And then ding dong, the next day, phone goes, there's an Amazon guy stood there with my parcel. I've not had to communicate with anyone. I've not had to speak to anyone. I've not had to shift my arse off my sofa. And I get it delivered direct to my door. Now, I get that service and you get that service, but your customers are also getting that service. So why, in today's day and age, do you feel as though it's acceptable to go out to look at a job and just because you're busy and you've got 1,000,001 things going off, why do you think it's acceptable to take a week to get back to a potential customer with a price? Do you think it's acceptable that email that's been sat in your inbox now for 2 days because you haven't had the time to get back to someone? Do you think that's acceptable in today's day and age? Do you think that letting your phone constantly click to voicemail because you're busy on the tools and you ain't got the headspace to deal with any more leads or that customer, do you think that's acceptable when I can sit on my backside and order something off Amazon and have it delivered tomorrow without even speaking to anyone? How the hell is it fair that tradesmen and women seem to think that they can take days and days and days to do things because that's what our industry has always dictated and told our customers that we're going to do? It's not acceptable anymore. Now, as you know, I don't own a construction company anymore. I was fortunate to build, grow and sell the business. But I'll tell you something now. If I had a construction company and we focused mainly on loft conversions, there'd be no way on God's earth I would be rocking up at somebody's house, walking around with a notepad and a pen like I used to, sketching things out, then telling customer it's going to be a week for me to get back to them with a price, then me finding the time in my diary to sit down and work the price out, and then price the job, put it all together manually on a Google Drive or some kind of piece of pricing software that we used to use back in the day, and then send it out to them all manually. Come on. Please don't tell me that that's how you're working right now in today's day and age. Please don't tell me that's how you're working. What I'd be doing now, we'd be quoting 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 grand lofts with probably 3,000 different components going into a loft conversion that takes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, that might take 10 different trades to pull it together. Listen, if I were doing that in today's day and age, I'd be having all the automation of the customer booking in, the booking through an online system that we'd set the survey times. We'd go out, they'd get the automated emails and texts confirming our appointment that had got videos inside of our happy customers telling them how amazing we are. I would rock up, I would get my iPad out, I'd walk round, I'd be putting measurements in, I'd be saying, right, 3 Velux windows, staircases going from there, 25 downlights, 16 plug sockets, scaffolding front, rear and side elevation with a gable lift. I'd be having 3 skips. I'd click a button. It'd price the job. It would pull all that pricing into a stunning looking proposal. It would automatically create an invoice for a deposit and pull my terms and conditions in. Then I'd say to Mrs. Jones, "Oh, Mrs. Jones, just before I go, can I just check your email address, please?" She'd say, "Yeah." I'd click send whilst I'm still in the house. Mrs. Jones had phone would ping and her emails would ping. Oh, what's that? I'd be like, Mrs. Jones, that's our proposal. There are terms and conditions. That's our payment terms and our deposit is attached, invoice is attached. We can start on this day at this time. How would you like to proceed? That is exactly what I'd be doing. And that's building a loft with probably 3,000 different components in it. Where some of you guys, with respect, and I mean this with respect, I'm not downgrading any trade, but if you're a plasterer, skimming a ceiling, flipping heck, it's easy, innit? It's how many square metres a skim do I need? How many boards do I need? If you're tiling, it's, all right, I need some grout, I need some tiles. How many square metres? If you're fitting a boiler, yeah, I get these different boilers, combi boilers, condensing boilers, unvented cylinder, I get it all. But come on, there's not a million different choices of boilers and flues. All that lot could be put into a system where you should be pricing there and then and speeding the whole of this sales process up. Do you get me? And let me just share this with you. Literally last week, one of my daughters, she just turned 18, but 6 months ago when she was still 17, she passed a driving test. And for a first car, she's got an old Fiesta, 1 litre, so it's cheap on insurance. It's a bit battered around edges, but it's good enough for a first car. And she's been rattling around in this car, and literally last week, there's been a little cold snap happen, time of year we're in. And as you know, old cars, batteries on old cars, they drain in cold weather. So a battery's drained on a car. And I'm like, okay, I've either got to jump start it and try and get it to a garage, which is a pain in the backside, or I'm going to have to drive to Alfred's, buy a battery, drive back and change it myself. And I'm like, surely there's got to be an easier way than this. Surely a garage somewhere has come up with some kind of system that's like Amazon. And it's like, yeah, but it's a garage. Most people had said that can't happen. So my wife went onto Alfred's website to have a look at what battery would need. Then I had to drive 20 minutes to go and pick a battery up, 20 minutes back, probably half an hour trying to get up bolts off at battery and replate its battery and mess about. And I'm like, flipping heck. She went onto Alfred's website. We punched in a registration plate and it gave us the 2 options of 2 different batteries. One like an economy battery and one a bit more expensive. And I'm like, let's have that battery, that one, right? Let's go and check out and buy it. And I can order it, right? And I can just call and collect, which is great service for a trades type of business, mechanics. But wait, when we went to check out, it said, do you want it fitting? And I'm like, what? For 30 quid, we can have a mechanic, an engineer as they called it, come out to your home, take the old battery off, fit it, and give you a 5-year guarantee on your battery. 30 quid. I'm like, flipping heck, that's brilliant. So what did we do? 8, 9 o'clock that night, we bought the battery, we paid 30 quid as an upsell, as an extra, and then we were presented with a calendar. When do you want it fitting? And I said to Sarah, when's the next day? And they went, well, they can do it 8 o'clock in the morning. This is like 8, 9 o'clock at evening. I'm like, what, tomorrow morning? She's like, yeah. I said, right, let's get it booked. 8 o'clock, ding dong, doorbell went, guy from Alfred's, right, where's your car? There you go. 15 minutes later, new battery on, job done. Job done. They've made that sales process incredibly slick. They've made it easy. They're doing things that other garages aren't do. So therefore, they won my business. And you need to start having a mindset shift to thinking, traditionally, how we run our trades business, things are evolving. Software's getting better and better. I can go onto the website of Boxed and buy a boiler and the installation without even speaking to anyone by going on Boxed website. I can go onto Screwfix and it might be 8 o'clock at night, and I can order what I need from Screwfix online and pick it up, or even get it delivered now from Screwfix. You can go onto Amazon and have the same experience. So you're doing this, you're a consumer, you're experiencing this yourselves, but you're not bringing it to your own business. And that's got to change. Now, write these 2 psychological sales triggers down, because there's 2 triggers that you need to trigger inside your potential customers that's going to put you in pole position. But if you don't trigger these, you're just going to be another tradesperson providing another quote. People are going to compare your quote based on price. You're in that rat race. It's a race to the bottom. You're no different to anyone else. You've not wowed your customers. You've not given them incredible customer service. You've not allowed them to do things at their pace, at their time. You've not done any of that. And we can't do that without hitting these triggers. So write these down. Trigger number 1 is speed. Speed. The trigger of speed. You see, people are more impatient now than ever before. People don't want to wait. People want things now. People's attention spans are dropping. Everybody wants things now. And if you've got a business and you're not providing a level of service that allows people to get things now when it suits them, then you've fallen behind already. Let me give you an example and take you back to the example that I've just given you about why is it taking you 2, 3, 4, 5 days to get quotes out, when in today's day and age we've got technology that you can do all that literally on an iPad or on your smartphone. That's going to speed up the whole process. They're going to get the quote there and then. Are you with me? Now, I accept that there's a couple of trades or a couple of types of jobs where you can't necessarily do that. Example, if you were a building contractor and you got an inquiry for a new build house, you can't do that. So there's certain things that are going to take a little bit longer. But come on, most joiners, scaffolders, plumbers, heating engineers, electricians, tilers, landscape gardeners, all you guys, CCTV, security, we should be able to just pull a device out and price there and then. And this is what I'm talking about speed. And if you can speed the whole sales process up and you can provide someone with a price there and then, or maybe same day, worst case scenario, but these other people or these other businesses they've contacted are taking a week or 2 weeks to get back to them, and the customer's having to chase them for the price, who's in pole position? You are. So the first thing we've got to do is hit that trigger of speed. The whole process needs speeding up. Halfords sped up the entire process for us. We bought it at 8, 9 o'clock on a night. 8 o'clock next morning, we've got some dude rock up on door and fit it. How amazing is that? That's what I'm talking about. It's speed. The second trigger that we need to hit is the word convenience. Write that down, convenience. And what I mean by convenience is it's an inconvenience for people now to not get what they want when they want it, right? Or if they've got to go out of their way to get whatever it is they want, it's inconvenient for them. So we've got to make our business as convenient as we can. Let me give you an example. Amazon, when they deliver your parcel, it used to be, years ago, if you weren't in, we'll take it to your local post office and maybe push something through the door. Then you had to prat around then. Going to post office, it's inconvenient. You get to post office, you've got to take your passport and some ID. You stood in a queue for 20 minutes. You're supposed to have been picking kids up from school and now you're late. Are you with me? But now look at what Amazon do. They'll leave your parcel if you're not in behind your bin and then let you know that it's behind the bin. They don't even necessarily leave it with neighbours anymore. They just leave it on your front doorstep. Why? Because it's more convenient and they understand it. And they understand that if it's speed and it's convenient, you'll buy more. Now, you might say again, hang on a minute, Craig, how does this affect my trades or construction business? Well, let's use a domestic market. Let's use a trading domestic market, right? So while we're talking about plumbing and heating engineers, let's use a plumbing and heating engineer, right? So what you would normally do, you would speak to your customer and then you'll say to your customer, right, well, I can't come out until Thursday because I'm busy. I can't get out to have a look at the job until Thursday. Oh, okay then. What time can you come? Well, I can't come in today because I'm on tools and this and that and what have you. And well, can you come at 12 o'clock on Thursday because, I'm not working on Thursday. No, I can't. I'm on tools. So all of a sudden it's an inconvenience to them that you can't get out till Thursday and you can't come out at the time that they want. You're already on back foot. And let's face it, most customers tar us trades with the same brush. And that is, we're all cowboys. We're all going to rip them off. We're all super unreliable. So by you doing a home survey and looking at a job during the day or during an evening or during a weekend, here's what's happening in your customer's mind. Flipping heck, they can't come out till Thursday and they can't come out till 7 o'clock because they're on tools all day, right? This is just like, it's inconvenient, isn't it? It's like, I suppose I've been going to Pilates. I can't go to Pilates now on Thursday, right? And I'm going to have to tidy the house up because they're going to have to get in all different bedrooms or they're going to have to get under stairs cupboard and that's a shithole. So I'm going to have to tidy all under stairs cupboard out and then we know what tradespeople are like. Are they going to turn up? Are they going to be on time? We're going to have to sit in waiting for them to come. Are you with me? It's inconvenient in today's day and age to expect a customer to sit in and change their day and wait for you and tidy the house up, right? Amazon don't do that for you. Halfords don't do that to you. Screwfix don't do that to you. So why are you doing it to your customers? Everybody is wanting convenience. They want things open at whatever time, 24 hours for them, because it's convenient for them. And if you're not open or you're not in communication or you're not going to get a quote quick enough back for them, or their email's going to be sat in your inbox for 2 days before you've got time to respond, or they keep ringing you, but it clicks to voicemail, all that is not convenient, is it? I mean, come on, you work during the day on the tools, perhaps, yeah? So you might have to order materials, let's say from Screwfix, at evening. You're buying things off Amazon. I know you are. Right? So when do you buy things off Amazon? You might sit on sofa at night, it's convenient, and buy something and purchase something off Amazon. Maybe it's the weekend, maybe it's a Friday or Saturday night and that's your takeaway night. What do? You'll go on to Just Eat. There's no need to ring up anymore and place an order. You just go on Just Eat. Why? Because it's convenient. You want to order a taxi, right? What do you do nowadays? Most people will order an Uber. Why? Because it's more convenient. And talking about technology and how things are moving, you know, my two youngest kids, I'll say, let's order a taxi, and it's like, what's one of them? Don't you mean, let's order an Uber, Dad? I'm like, no, it's a taxi. That's how things are evolving that quick. We can go and buy a boiler off box website, like I've already said. Why? Because for some people, that's convenient. And if you're not bringing speed and you're not bringing convenience to your business now, I'm telling you, you've already fallen behind. So you need to up your game and we need to get this in place. So how do we create speed and convenience in our vetting process? Well, let's rewind back to the point where the customer's been through our vetting process, whether that is an online vetting form or vetting over the phone where we've asked them some vetting questions and we've worked out that actually we're a good match. These we don't think are time wasters, and it's actually worth our time investing into this person or this potential customer because so far they're ticking all the right boxes. So what would we normally do at this point? Well, traditionally, we will book an appointment in with them, with that customer to go and do, let's go with the boiler example, a home survey. And a lot of this is not even automated still. You've not automated this side of that process yet, where you've got a calendar where either you or your potential customers can book a selected date and timing that you set, just like Alfred's. They gave me the date and they gave me the time and they set me times and I chose a time that were convenient for me. You need to do the same. And then what happens is they book the date, they book the time, and that triggers an automated email and text message off to them, confirming your appointment, with reminder emails and text messages triggered in the lead up to you going and doing your home survey. Now, most of you haven't got that automation in. I had this automation in my business 15 years ago. And in today's day and age, when people have got all this technology that we've got now and all this AI and APIs, why haven't you got it in your business if you've not got it in? But I digress. Let's bring it back. So traditionally, you're going to book an appointment in, which you're probably going to all do manually, maybe through WhatsApp or the odd email to the customer. Then traditionally what you're going to do is you might have to drive 30 minutes to get to that customer's house. While you're there, you might spend up to an hour. When I was surveying lofts, it were an hour. Maybe it's only half an hour for you, but let's say, for this argument's sake, by the time you've done your survey and you've done your chit-chat and you've done your rapport building, let's say it's an hour. You've then got a 30-minute drive back to your home or your office. You might then spend 2 hours pricing that job. And again, I know some of you can price jobs quicker. For me, doing loft conversions, it used to take us 4 hours. So let's just say for 2 hours, you're going to price the job. You're then going to spend 30 minutes creating a quote and emailing that quote off. You're then going to spend a further 15 minutes further down the line following up that quote. You're going to maybe send some emails, some text messages, maybe a couple of follow-up calls. Now, traditionally, that's how we've always done business. And if you were to add up that amount of time that I've just gone through, that adds up to 4 3/4 hours, almost 5 hours of time invested into that customer, absolutely free of charge. Free of charge. And a lot of the times, you don't win the job. And a lot of the times, you get ghosted. They've not even got the decency to even drop you a text message back thanking you for your time. But unfortunately, we've given the job to someone else. You don't even get that. You get nothing in some cases, but you're letting this happen to yourself because you've not got speed and you've not made it convenient. And you're not vetting people. So unless something changes in your business, you're going to continue to do the old school type of sales. You're going to be wasting hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of your time every single week and give it up for time wasters, where what we should be doing is vetting customers and then offering them of choice to start off with of 2 types of surveys. And these two types of surveys bring speed and bring convenience to them. And that is photo surveys and video surveys. And I would encourage every one of you to have a shift in your mindset to approaching these photo surveys and these video surveys. Because if we can change our mindset and we can get rid of them limiting beliefs that that's not going to work, or, Craig, me doing the in-person side of it, I'm going to convert more because I can build up rapport. I can talk to them. It's face-to-face. And I get that. And you're probably right. You will convert more people face-to-face. However, if you're bringing enough leads in to your business and those leads are all booking up photo survey or video survey time with you in your diary and you're converting them, you don't necessarily need to start focusing and worrying about, I'm not doing any face-to-face. Because the marketing, the attract strategy and the amount of people that you're putting into your funnel is generating you enough leads to have photo surveys and video surveys booked out. And for the ones that don't necessarily want a photo or video survey, you might be saying, yeah, but Craig, I'm losing business. But you're not losing business. If you've got your marketing right and every one of your survey slots in your diary every week is packed out with photos and video surveys, it doesn't matter about the ones who wanted an in-person survey. And I also appreciate that some of you may have got a target market that's the elderly who aren't up on all this technology and that you might have to do some home surveys. Well, that's okay. We might have to do some. But what I'm saying is, don't give them the home survey as the first option. Give them the photo survey as option 1 or the video survey of option 2. And if it's an elderly person, perhaps, that's not up on tech and seems to be your target market, then okay, the odd one's not going to kill you, is it? But we've got to get away from doing home surveys or site surveys every single time because you're wasting too much valuable time and you're not getting paid for it. Now, a lot of the tradesmen and women that I coach on my programs will say, Craig, I don't know whether this is going to work for me. And I'm like, listen, change your mindset. Let's get rid of that limiting belief. And let me explain to you and show you exactly how you do this, what tools you need, what is the process, how you build it all out. And I go through and we spend a full month working on this. And at the end of the month, they send everything live and hey presto, people start to book photo surveys and video surveys with them. In fact, I'm going to play you an audio. It is a video, but I've took the audio off it, and it's one of my students that I coach. It's a plasterer called Stuart Roberts. He's a plastering contractor. He does a lot of domestic work, and as you're going to hear from him, he was running himself ragged dealing with time wasters. Now, Stuart has got a fantastic Facebook group for plasterers and renderers. So if you're a plasterer and a renderer and you want to go over and check out Trowel Talk, which is what Stuart's Facebook group is, Stuart has got a fantastic community of plasterers that are all sharing best practice, so go and join his group. But enough of that. Let's head over and listen to what Stuart has got to say and the results that he got immediately from putting this strategy in place.
So my leads I'm actually getting less leads in, but that's a good thing because my conversion rate, they're the right leads now that are coming in. So my conversion rate has gone, when I first started this program, it was around 55%. The last 2 months I've hit 100% on the conversion rate. because I've been bringing in the right leads and vetting them through the vetting form. So that's a big win for me. So I'm still keeping busy and profits are up. But the leads that are now, the people that I'm speaking to on the phone are the leads that I want, rather than, driving around looking at multiple jobs and getting ghosted and all, which, as you know, was a massive issue for me when I started this program. I was driving out looking at jobs, probably 4 to 5 jobs a week I was looking at, and I might have won one of them if I were lucky. I've not looked at a job in I've not driven out and looked at a job in about 3 weeks, because following your guidance, what I do now is I get videos, get them to walk through the job with a video, then I get them on the phone straight away and have a quick 10-minute phone call. And I've found just by doing those 2 things, I'm winning more work, getting less rejections. It's been a massive game changer for us. That has. So the amount of hours I've shaved off my working week is unreal, just through vetting customers properly.
Now, Stuart's not just a one-off. There are hundreds and hundreds of people that I've been coaching, particularly on my inner circle, that's gone away and done this and are now reaping the benefits. So let me explain to you what I'm going to ask you to go away and do. The photo survey is where I'm going to ask you to start, because this is by far the easiest method, right? But there's 2 ways of you doing a photo survey. Remember, speed and convenience is what we're looking for. So the first way I'm going to share with you is quick, it's easy, and you could literally start it within an hour. The second way is putting everything on steroids and automating that process, which takes a little bit more time, but the conversion rate from you investing into the automation side is far greater. Let me explain. Option 1 is you're going to be using something like WhatsApp. And in today's day and age, 99.9% of people that are probably going to be our target market are on WhatsApp. If they don't use WhatsApp, you can literally just use text messages, right? And here's what you're going to do. You need to create an educational template. And what I mean by an educational template is you need to explain to your customer exactly what information or what photographs they need to take and send you over to allow you to be able to have a look at those photographs, have a look at all the information that they've sent over to you. And the idea behind this is, if we get the right information from them, with your experience, you should be able to put a budget type of figure together, right? So for argument's sake, let's stick with the boilers. If you got a photograph of their boiler, of where their flue exits, of their tanks, if there's any tanks, of where their controls are or their thermostats, and maybe you want an extra photo or 2, but if you got that information back from them, and you got things such as, what type of warranty do you want on your boiler? Have you got a preferred manufacturer of boiler? There'll be a few more questions that you need to ask. But if you got those photographs back, or any measurements, and more information that would already have been given to you from the vetting form, if we can get that information back, as an experienced plumbing and heating engineer, you should be able to give a ballpark figure, a budget figure. And we're not saying you give them it by bang on the pound. You might say, listen, we've been established for 10 years and we've fitted over 300 boilers in and around your postcode or your area or this part of the city. So we're extremely experienced in fitting boilers. Now, based on the photographs and the size of the pipe and how many radiators you've got and you want a boiler with a 10-year warranty, and you've asked for a Worcester or an Ideal or whatever it is you're asking for, Mrs. Jones, we're estimating that your boiler installation will be between £2,000 and £2,500. We can install the boiler on Tuesday morning, and if you wanted to go ahead, this is what would happen next. Pay a deposit, sign your T's and C's, whatever you want them to do. How would you like to proceed? And then it's over to the customer then to say to you, well, what does happen next, Craig? What do we need to do next? We're interested. It might be, oh, no, that price is well out of budget, or we need it doing before that. Brilliant. Get rid of them. You've not wasted any of your time driving 30 minutes to look at job, spending an hour chit-chatting, driving 30 minutes back, putting your price together, putting your quote together. You've not done any of that by giving them a budget figure. And if at that point they're interested, right, at that point, once you've given them the budget figures and your time scales and explained to them what's going to happen next, at that point, you've got two options. Option one is the job that they've sent through to you has got enough information on that you can actually give them a bang-on figure from that. Or it might be, at this point, this is when you go out and do the home survey. But at least if you go and do the home survey now, you know that they're not a time waster. You know that they're pre-sold and ready to buy, and all you need to do is get them over the line. But it's got to be speed. You can't go out and say, oh, brilliant, thanks ever so much, but it's going to take me a week to get back to you with a price, because remember, we want speed and convenience. So by simply using something like WhatsApp, where you educate them with a template that says, do this, we need this type of shot, we need this measurement, whatever it is you need, however you're going to educate them on getting that information back to you is what you need to do. Now, the education can come in three ways. One, it's a detailed, maybe message that can be sent via email or by WhatsApp or text that goes into detail of what it is you're looking for and how they get that information back to you. You may want to send some example images. So you could say that I need 6 photos from you. Photo number 1, this is the example, and this is the type of photo I need you to take of your boiler. Photo 2, this is an example of an image of the flue exit. I need you to send me an image that looks like that. Or option 3 of the educational template is you do a video. You do a video saying, right, watch this video. This is the information I want from you. And you could do a walk round of, right, and it could be your own house, couldn't it? This is a boiler. I want you to do a photograph of the boiler that looks like that. Your tank's up in your loft or in your airing cupboard, right? These are what I'm talking about. I need a photo of them. As long as you're educating them and letting them know that this is the information that's required for you to do a survey for them and give them a budget price and timescales, as long as you educate them up front, they'll do it. It's when you just say, send me a photograph of your boiler and your flue. And they send you a photograph of the boiler, but door shut on boiler cupboard. You know, what's the use of that? Because that's what you'll get if you don't do the educational template. So pull that together, simply use WhatsApp, send it over to them, get that information back on WhatsApp, give them a price, budget figure, give them your timescales, explain what happens next. How do you want to proceed? That's option 1. Now, that will work for many of you, and you might be happy doing it literally like that. And the time that's going to save you, how are you going to speed up the process by doing that? Because they're not having to wait till Thursday night till you've got time to go and see them. They can do it there and then. They can do it the same day. So the speed comes into it. Convenience comes into it because they're not having to tidy house. They're not having to wait in for you. They're not having to cancel their appointment with a Pilates instructor. They're not late for picking kids up from school because you were late getting there. Oh, you see what I'm saying? This is where speed and convenience comes into itself. Now, if you want to put all this lot on steroids, and you want to make this automated so you're not having to manually send things on WhatsApp, what you need to do is you need to look at what I call way number 2, which is automation. Because that same process as I've just gone through with you now, all that lot can be seamlessly automated. That doesn't take you any time other than clicking one button and bang it. All that lot is automated for you. So let me just explain how this works. First of all, you're going to need some software that triggers automated emails and automated text messages. Now, there's loads out there and some great ones, but we use Leadzilla, which is our sales and marketing and automation software that does all your sales pipelines, triggers all your emails and your texts. You can build websites in it and landing pages and funnels and all sorts. Now, you need that software first. Doesn't have to be Leadzilla. It can be any software that you choose. I'm just saying that we use Leadzilla. Now, inside Leadzilla will already be the customer's contact details, already pre-populated. Why? Because don't forget, before this part of the process, they've already filled out a vetting form. So therefore, when the information that they give you, name, address, email, mobile, when they give you that on the vetting form, that information is automatically added into your CRM and your database in your contacts inside Leadzilla. All you would then have to do is build an automation inside Leadzilla that takes care of the photo survey. Let me explain. The details are in Leadzilla, and all you would do is you go to their contact record and you literally click one button. And when you click that button, that's going to trigger an automated email and a text message to that customer explaining about your photo survey. But in the email and in the text, there's a link that they click. And when they click that link, it sends them over to your own personal branded photo survey app that's built inside Leadzilla. All branded with your logo on, with all your brand colours. It looks like they're on an app on your website because it's built inside Leadzilla. And what the app does is the app shows them the example of the image that you want them to take. But instead of them taking it on the phone and uploading it through WhatsApp, they look at the image on Leadzilla, on the app, and then there's an upload button on the app. So they click the upload button, and they can either upload a photo that might be already saved in their camera roll, or if they haven't got a photo to upload in the camera roll, they can just click camera and it takes a photo and then it automatically uploads that photograph into the app. And we do one photograph at a time. So let's do it, say in a boiler as an example, and you want a picture of the boiler, you want a picture of the flue exit, you want a picture of the controls, you want a picture of the tanks, just as an example. There'd be one image that shows that as an example, and they would upload 4 photographs exactly the same as what you're showing. Those images then go straight into Leadzilla. The customer gets an automated email and text pinging saying, thank you so much for uploading your photo survey. A member of our team will give you a call to give you a budget figure and talk about timescales should you decide you want to proceed. You, the business owner, the salesperson, you instantly get a text message and an email saying that Mrs. Jones from this address has just sent in these photos, and these are the photos and the measurements or anything else that you want. This is what's been sent in. You can then look at them literally within 10 seconds of your phone pinging. You're looking at them, you're looking at any measurements, any drawings, and you know from experience roughly what you would charge. You then ring them straight back immediately while they're hot, while they're juicy, while they're in the moment, while it's fresh in the minds. Remember speed. You ring them straight back. You explain the price and timescales to them. Tell them what's going to happen next. How would you want to proceed? Now remember, if this is an easy job to price, and let's go back to the plastering example where they've taken a photograph and uploaded the photograph of their bedroom ceiling or their bedroom that they want skimming. And they've sent you the measurements and you know where they live and the postcode and all that lot. You should be able to then, from that, give them maybe a bang-on figure and then send out the deposit invoice immediately. Or it might be a slightly bigger job where you need to go out and look at it and do a home survey. But remember, they're now pre-sold, ready to buy, and they're not time wasters. So when you go and do the survey, they're almost there. You've just got to get them over the line. So what I'm saying is, you've got two ways of doing the photo surveys. The very simple way that you could literally have set up within an hour is through WhatsApp. Just send them, this is what I want, these are examples of the types of photos, or record a video, send them that message in as much detail and they'll send it you back. Or as you start to scale your business and you don't want to be doing that manually, you build out an automation in some software, it could be Leadzilla, it could be something else, and all that lot is just done at the click of a button. And if you start to bring the photo surveys, that's speeding up the whole sales process and it's super convenient for them. Now, the second option that you're going to offer to your potential customer is a video survey. And a video survey is where you're going to jump onto a video, again, let's talk about speed and making things easy. This could be either WhatsApp video, it could be FaceTime video, it could be Zoom if you want to use Zoom, or Teams, or Google Hangouts. All these are video communication pieces of software that you can click and instantly give someone a video call. Now, it's the exact same strategy that we're going to use with the video as we've done with the photo survey, but instead of them sending you photos, you're going to introduce yourself on the video, give them a little bit of background about your business to build a bit of authority, explain to them that you've been established for X amount of time and you've fitted or done X amount of hundreds or thousands of these to build up that credibility. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have that conversation with them and then you're going to walk them round whatever it is that you need to see. And they're going to show you exactly what you need to see. You're going to ask them to send you measurements. You're going to ask them to send any drawings that you need to enable you to visually walk around the job with them, but then take the measurements and the drawings or any other information that you need. And then from that, you're then going to say to them, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come off this video call with you now, and then I'm going to put a budget figure together, and I'm going to give you a call back on your phone, a phone call, and I'm going to give you a budget figure. I'm going to give you some timescales, and if you wanted to proceed, I'm going to explain what happens next. Now, the reason why the video survey is, in my opinion, better than the photo survey is the video survey. You get to see people, you get to talk to people, we can build up a better relationship. It's going down the route of more of a one-to-one or an in-person survey, but without you having to travel 30 minutes to get there, spend an hour talking crap and treading water and chit-chat, and then half an hour back. You're not wasting 2 hours of your time. And then what you do is you give them a call and you do the exact same. You give them the budget figure, the timescales, what happens next, how do you want to proceed? And again, it might be that you can give them a spot on price. It might be that you give them that budget figure and they said, you know what, we're interested, what happens next? And you feel as though you've got a gut to the job. Again, we'll get that booked in. I'll come and do a home survey. But again, you're not wasting time because they're almost over the line. They're pre-sold and ready to buy. Are you with me? And the video surveys are absolutely brilliant. Now, when I said that we could put photo surveys on steroids by using Leadzilla, we can also do the same with video surveys. Because on a video survey, they've got to book a date and a time in with you to do the survey. It's just like doing a home survey, ain't it? You need to know the date and the time, what's convenient, and they're going to be in for both of you. So here's why I'm saying Leadzilla comes into its own. Because what you would do is, inside Leadzilla, you would set up a video survey calendar. And what that means is you can send that link via email and text automatically through Leadzilla to that customer. And then they click the link that brings up your video survey diary with all the availability time slots that you've already set out. They choose their convenient one for them, and when they book it in, they get the automated email and the automated text confirming your video survey. And if that video survey is on something like Zoom, Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams, you're going to have to send them a link to join the actual Zoom. Well, that link, you make a standard link that's the exact same for everybody. And because it's the same link, that's the link that goes into the emails and the text messages that get triggered to the customer. They click that video survey link. It opens up your diary. They choose a convenient slot that suits them. And that's when the automation of the confirmation email, along with video testimonials saying how amazing you are, gets triggered. And the reminder emails and text messages get triggered to that customer, reminding them that they've got the video survey with you. But in those emails and text messages that go out, you can be explaining in them emails and texts what you're going to walk them through. What do they need to do? What rooms might they need to go in? What measurements might they need to send to you so they can prepare for the video survey? But again, when you start to think about this, it's speed, as in it's so much quicker to book a video survey with you than it is to wait till Thursday for you to go out and do the home survey. And it's more convenient because, again, they don't have to wait in, they don't have to tidy house, they don't have to cancel the Pilates meeting. It's so convenient. So when you start to introduce the photo and video surveys into your sales process, and you say to people, look, you've got two options for us to do a survey. Option one is a photo survey where this is what happens. We do it on WhatsApp, or if it's through Leadzilla, you'll get a link that you click to our survey app where you upload some photos and we give you a budget figure and we give you the timescales. Or option two, if you prefer to do a video survey, then we can book a date and a time in with you for that video survey, where I'll send you an email and a text to our video survey calendar, choose a convenient time, and then I'll see you on that video and walk you through what I need to see. How convenient and fast is that? And that's where we need to be. Now, you're always going to get the odd customer that says, don't you just come out and give me a price and come to my house? Well, yes, we do, but you're not going to do that until you've vetted them. Are you with me? And if you choose to go out and give up your 2 or 3 hours time to go and do that, and they don't go ahead, you're going to kick yourself. So this is why I'm saying you want to be pushing the photo and video surveys as the only two options, and just leave the in-person survey right to the end if it's a worst case scenario. Or perhaps it's that elderly person that's not up on all his tech and can't do the photos or can't do the video. Then you would vet them, make sure they're the right person, then you go out and give up your time. Are you with me? Remember, there's only 168 hours in a week. And for many trades business owners, we're working far too many hours. You're grafting all day, you're coming back, evenings and even weekends can be sapped up with you going out and doing these surveys in person, then coming back and doing all the pricing and putting all the quotes and estimates together. And your conversion rate, you're not going to win every job. So all them jobs that you're not winning have been time wasters and tire kickers. And what I'm saying on last week's episode and this week's episode is you've got to protect as much of that time as you can. And if you keep giving your time out willy-nilly to people that haven't been vetted and you haven't got a budget off them and they've not agreed sort of like timescales, and you've got no photos or videos or measurements or drawings, it's like you're just walking into something blind. You're giving up your valuable time for a stranger, and unless you vet them, you've got no idea whether they've got the budget or not. Why on earth would you want to give up all that valuable time and waste it when you could be spending that time on high-value tasks such as building a photo survey tool or the video survey, putting all that lot in place to help you save your time? Or you could reinvest that time back into you, back into your hobbies, back into your personal development, back into watching your son play football on a Tuesday night at training, instead of surveying that job with that time waster who's now going to ghost you when you should have been spending time with your son. Are you with me? This is what I'm saying. Now, I want you to take from this episode 2 words. And those 2 words are speed and convenience. If you're not working on speeding up your sales process, and if you're not working on it being more convenient for you and your customers, so you're both saving time, and you're not working on how you can differentiate yourself from all your competitors who don't know any of this, by the way. They're still doing everything old school. They're the ones that are sat with emails in inboxes for 2 days. They're the ones who aren't answering the phone and letting it click to voicemail. They're the ones who are saying it's going to take a week to get a quote together. And even after a week, the customers are having to ring them to chase them for a price. All this lot, what I'm sharing with you now, builds authority. It makes you look 10 times better, a million times better than your competitors. So we can start to afford to charge more. We can put us prices up. We can be explaining, and we've got a reason why we can explain to the customers why we are a little bit more than everybody else, because of the high level of quality of service that we deliver. And we can demonstrate that with them. So it deals with things like objections of price. But without you doing this, you are going to get left behind, because all this technology that's out there now, there are hundreds of thousands of tradesmen and women that are starting to use this technology. I've coached 30,000 people into all these strategies. Many of them now are using the photo survey and the video survey tools. And yes, to start off with, it's a different way of pricing jobs, and it's a different way of vetting people, and it's a different way of protecting your time. But you've got to do it. You've not got enough time every day to squander and waste on time wasters and tire kickers. If you're not already a member of our Trades Freedom Club, free, safe and thriving Facebook group and community, could I please ask you to consider clicking the link in and around the description of this episode and coming over to our community, where we've got thousands of tradesmen and women and owners of construction businesses that are in there every day, helping, supporting each other, sharing best practices, sharing strategies that are working for them. I'm constantly in there every day. My team's in there every day. It's a free resource to help you to build and grow and scale your business. Now, what I'd love you to do is head over to the group and come and tell me, tag me in, Craig Wilkinson, that you've listened to episode number 37, right? And what are you now going to do about it? And when you do put your photo survey tools and your video survey tools and apps together, and you start to get the results, I want you to come and tell me in the group, Craig, I've put it in place and this is now what's happening to my conversions. What's your conversion rate gone up to? Because they will do. You'll convert more people doing this. And I want to know, how much time are you now saving? And where are you going to invest this time? Are you going to invest it back into your business, back into your hobbies, back into your loved ones that you might have been neglecting for X amount of time? Where are you going to spend that time? So come back into the group, tell me you've listened to episode 37, tell me what your results are. And remember, the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. So I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.